Hi, I'm Lorraine. Welcome to the District Yoga. Today's practice is a great one when you're just stiff or sore. It's one where I'm going to encourage you to move as slow as your body needs today. You will need one myofascial ball or tennis ball if you have one. If you don't, you can skip that part completely or fast forward the video. Otherwise, we're just going to get started in a child's pose. And I, again, encourage you to move as slowly as you need, especially if you're doing this class coming from a stiff body or maybe you did a lot this week. Let's go ahead and bring the hands down the side body. Start to breathe here. Just start to notice. Start to check in. If the forehead to the mat didn't feel right even today, maybe you bring a block underneath that or even a blanket or a bolster just to support your head. See if you can just breathe into your body. See if you can just fill up those lungs as deep as you know how. And again, because this class is geared around whether you have a sore or stiff body today, maybe just check in and tell yourself that it's okay to move as slow as you might need. It's okay to even skip things here if you need to. I always want to have that gentle awareness of where our body is, how our body feels. Hopefully this class gives you a nice way to move the body, to create some circulation in certain places, to find a nice balance of mobility and flexibility, even a little bit of strength. Take your last couple breaths. One more bottom belly inhale. Full exhale. If not already, go ahead and reach the arms forward into your child's pose, fingers spreading wide. Let's go ahead and shift forward to a tabletop position. And then I want you to come into either a comfortable seat or to a seat on your shins. So if you're coming to your shin, just climb the upper body up. You could adjust the knees closer if that felt right, or you can just come to a nice comfortable seated position. We're just going to start out into the shoulders. And again, it's going to be gentle. It's going to be slow. We'll start one shoulder at a time. We're going to just start to create a little bit of movement. And again, it's not rigid. It's really more fluid and organic. Just find some movement in your shoulder. Maybe bend the elbow, maybe not. Maybe open the arm out wide. Find movement that feels good to just allow not only the rotator cuff, but also the scapula, that space behind you. That supports your shoulder, that really is part of the shoulder, that allows it to be mobile and fluid. It allows you to reach in the back of your car when maybe your child has dropped something down. Find a little movement there. Again, nothing formal, a little more organic, a little more fluid. If you went in one direction, maybe switch directions. Maybe find a little more openness. Last couple breaths. One more inhale. Come back towards center. We'll just switch that out. Again, nothing formal. You could just start out. You could use the elbow. You can extend the arm. Just find movement through that joint here. Our shoulder joint really is our most mobile joint that we have because it has so many different muscles and attachments, right? We have the rotator cuff, but we also have the scapula that allows it to move in certain directions. We have internal rotation and external rotation, also adduction and abduction. Lots of things happening with the shoulders, right? And that's oftentimes why we feel we have a lot of tension there. I mean, when we have a lot of tension or we're feeling a little stiff, our shoulders probably creeping up towards the ears. Last couple breaths. So if that's you, just notice. Beautiful. Take an inhale. Come back towards center. And then from here, reach the arms up tall. And then bend through the elbows. Let's just find a little opening through the chest. Doesn't have to be 100%. Maybe go to 70% here. Maybe 60% as you bend through the elbows. Palms face forward. The chest, slight opening through the collarbones. Take a couple breaths. Maybe close the eyes. I want you to just tune into that back area of the scapula if you can. We're just going to move the arms back up. Palms still face forward. Move them back up. Just notice the movement of that scapula behind you. See if you can envision it as you bend the elbows again. As they lower, they depress. And then they kind of wing out, right? Our scapula behind us are doing this nice winging as we reach up. And then bring them back down. Bend the elbows. Last two. Inhale. Bend the elbows, open it out. Maybe just notice the mobility of that joint. Inhale. Bring it back down as you exhale. Last time, reach up. When you're ready, come to a tabletop position. Find yourself here. Tabletop. Let's just get into the spine. So we touched into the shoulders a little. Now we'll touch into the spine. Drop the belly down. We're going to come into a couple cat-cows. Nothing too rigid. You can move the hips if you'd like to add them in. Round through the back. Find your cat pose. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, dome and round. Couple more at your own pace, at your own rhythm. Exhaling it out. Inhale to drop the belly. Let's get 2 more rounds. Exhale, round. Inhale. Beautiful. Exhale that out. Last one. Coming back to a long neutral spine here. Crown of the head reaching tall. Hands still planted firm. Let's go ahead and lift that right leg up and back. So find a little length. Maybe point the toes. Maybe flex the toes. Maybe roll the ankle out if that felt like it was calling your name. Breathe it here. We're going to go ahead and step the right foot forward. So inhale, get long through the leg. On the exhale, step that foot through, and we're going to stay in this low lunge. We're going to actually pulse it between low lunge and a half split. So first round, just take 3 rounds of breath here in the low lunge. Feel it. If you'd like to tuck the back toes underneath, you absolutely could. I like to keep mine unraveled, so we'll go there. You decide. And here I want you to know that we're just going to go to about 60, maybe 70%. You're not going to go to 100%. No need to go as deep as you might. Go ahead and shift the hips back. Maybe a bend through the right knee as you find that 60 to 70%. You find that activation through the hamstring, a little stretch, a little lengthening through that muscle. Again, we're going to pulse this. So last couple moments on this first round. And again, you're just going to go to that 60 or 70%. No need to force or straighten that leg completely in any way, shape, or form. We're just going to move on an inhale, shift forward. Find your low lunge. Hands stay low. Exhale, shift back. Again, maybe 60, 70%. Inhale forward. Exhale it back. Let's get 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. This should feel good in that hamstring. Shift forward. Last one. Shift it back. Rebend the knee. Let's plant the hands and just step that right knee back. Come back to tabletop position. Find that here. Again, we're just going to switch sides. So left leg up and long behind you. Point or flex the toes or roll the ankle, whatever feels good. Notice the belly start to engage slightly here. Breath still with you. Inhale, toes are going to reach long. Exhale, step that left foot through. Again, finding your low lunge. Doesn't have to be your deepest depth, though. In fact, if you wanted to use some blocks or if you had any props nearby, you could absolutely use them underneath the hands. Stay here, a couple breaths. First round on this side. Again, notice I'm not going extremely deep. I'm not going to my deepest depth. In fact, today you probably won't ever get to a deepest depth. I encourage you to just stay in that 60 to 70% mark. Breathe in. Breathe out. I know our brains often want to go to 100% all the time, but see if you can just stay in that 60 to 70%. Shift the hips back, a little bend through the left knee this time. Stay here. Maybe notice if one side feels any different than the other. Last few breaths before we start to flow this through. Just a few rounds. Beautiful. If you're with me, we're going to go ahead and rebend that front knee. Start to come forward. Shift it back as you breathe out. Again, 60 to 70%, not our fullest depth. Inhale forward. Shift it back. Shift it forward. And back. Yes, last one. Shift it back. Again, 60, 70. Come back forward, plant the hand, just step back to tabletop position. And then when you're ready, start to tuck the toes underneath. We're going to come into that first downward facing dog and breathe. If you want to step the feet a little bit forward, you can. If you want to pedal the feet out, that might feel really nice here. Breathe in and out of that nose. Beautiful. Last couple breaths. We're going to slowly peel the hands and crawl them towards the back of our mat, finding ourselves in a standing forward fold. Bent knees, maybe huge bend in the knees. Just hang heavy. You could grab opposite elbows. We'll be here for 3. Just saying hi to those hamstrings. Already just gently touched into them. Again, no need to go to 100%. Beautiful. Keep the bend through the knees. A nice generous bend there. Start to ragdoll yourself. So roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Crown of the head's going to come up last. Slow, slow, slow. Palms face forward. Hands by your side body. Breathe here. Nice mountain pose. Just notice maybe some tension just slowly melting away. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and face you, but we're going to find circular ragdoll. So just like you rolled up at the back of your mat, you're going to find circular ragdolls. And all that means is we're just going to go from side to side, really. So I'll walk you through this first round. Plant through the feet. Feet are wide. Mine are wider than the hips. You could be as wide as the hips if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and lean off to my right side. And then start to get heavy through the arms, the upper body. Start to lean down as if you're going to reach for the toes. Start to lower the head down. So we're coming down, and then we're going to sway over towards the left foot this time. Slow, slow, slow. I like to keep a bend through the knees as I slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, come up that left side this time. Again, circular ragdolls. We're going to keep this going, coming over towards that right side, slow as you need. You might be slower than I am, in fact. You might be faster. It doesn't matter. Just find your variation of these circular ragdolls coming up that left side. Crown of the head still coming up last as you slowly come to that right side again, lowering down. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Swing over towards the opposite side and just vertebrae by vertebrae coming back up. Let's do 2 more. Over to the right. We will switch directions. Breathing still. Again, no rush. No need to be that 100% mark at all points in our life or at all times, even during our practice. Last one as we roll over towards the left side. Maybe noticing the side body, finding a little bit of space here. Coming back to center. Take a couple breaths. We're just going to switch sides. So I'm going to shift my weight to the left foot this time, leaning towards that left hip. Let the upper body get heavy. Arms draw down. Sway over towards the right. Again, keeping a bend through the knees as you find your circular ragdolls. This should feel nice, really, not only in the side body, but the legs have a nice effect here. Even the head and the neck, as you come up those circular ragdolls, maybe one side gets a stretch, and then as you transition towards the other side of the head and neck gets a stretch too. Last couple rounds. Again, going as slow as your body needs. Last one here. Coming back towards center, palms face forward. Take a couple breaths. Just notice here. Notice any shifts there. Maybe the upper body feels a little nicer, a little tension has melted away. Maybe the lower body feels good as you got a little into those lower legs, the hamstrings. On your next inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. Just reach the arms forward. Palms are going to face each other. And then once you're ready, keep the left arm reaching. We're going to bend through the right elbow. And as you do that, send the gaze over towards the right side. Stay here for 5 breaths. So opening towards the side of our space, but also allowing the head and the neck to find a little stretch here. Last couple. Maybe noticing any of that stiffness start to gently melt away. On the inhale, reach that right arm back up. Let's switch sides. Left elbow bends, gaze over towards the left. Stay here for 5. That left palm facing forward. Feet staying rooted. Belly sucked up and in. So that core, there is an engagement there. Right side of the head and neck, finding a little stretch. Inhale, reach back up, grow tall. And then exhale, bring the hands to the heart space. We're going to go ahead and find that myofascial ball or tennis ball. So again, if you didn't have it and you wanted to skip this, you could absolutely fast forward, but it's only going to be a quick couple minutes. So we're going to take that ball under one foot at a time. I'm going to start with my right foot. And if the ball rolls away, find it. We're just going to scribble. It's going to be, again, nothing formal, nothing rigid. We're just going to scribble the bottom of our foot. We're going to find those little nuggets or places where there's some tightness, some soreness, some tenderness. Although we're not chasing extreme sensation, right? We don't want anything to be painful when we're doing this myofascial release, but we're just trying to hydrate those tissues, just trying to wake them up, create some circulation. You can go side to side, you can create some circles, find a little balance as you come into this practice. Make sure you get the back of the foot, the front, the sides. Last couple breaths on this side. If you needed to stay in any place, you always have that choice. Beautiful. Go ahead and let that ball stay off to the side. I just want you to find a mountain pose. Stay there. Notice the differences between sides. Maybe check back into that area or pocket where you felt sore or stiff before and see if that area was impacted in any way. Maybe it was your legs. Maybe you feel more circulation through the legs. Go ahead and blink the eyes open. We'll just switch sides. So find that ball again. And again, nothing formal, nothing too rigid. Just finding that scribbling motion along the bottom of the foot. The sides, the front, the back. If you needed to stay in any place, stay. Find what's calling your name. You know, the myofascial practices are very experiential practices because where I feel it, you might not feel it at all, right? Where I feel it, you might feel more sensation. You might feel less. So it's completely experiential. And know that, again, from side to side, just like anything else, might be completely different. In fact, just for your body, day to day might be completely different. You might be not even notice, right? Maybe the left side on Tuesday was really tight, and then on Wednesday it wasn't, right? Last couple breaths. Just scribbling, hydrating those tissues. Beautiful. Go ahead and find your way. Set that ball off to the side. We will not need that anymore. Find your way to a mountain pose. And again, just notice. Just being aware. Gently blink the eyes open. Inhale, let's sweep the arms up at the top of our mat. Exhale, forward fold. Let's hinge at those hips. Forward dive. Inhale, find your first half flat back. On the exhale, let's just plant the hands down. Step back to a downward facing dog and meet there. Downward facing dog. Couple breaths. Maybe notice if this feels any better than the first one. Maybe it feels just the same, right? That might very well might be. Breathe into whatever you feel. Let's go ahead and move on. We're going to move into our only flow. We're going to keep a lot of these shapes modified. If you need a little bit more, you can absolutely add on anything you'd like. But I encourage you, again, to stay in that 60 to 70% mark. We will get a last flow at the end of this class that's a little bit stronger, a little bit more strength, a little more balance. But I assure you we'll get there. If you're with me, let's just go ahead and step the right foot forward. Drop the back knee. You could keep the back toes if you wanted. I'm going to reach up my arms on an inhale. Stay here for 3 breaths. First one, with the arms reaching. We've been here in the lower body before. Last 2. And then a big transition here. We're going to stay on the left knee. So left knee is going to stay dropped down. We're going to reach up. We're going to scoot the the right foot to the inside edge as we pivot that left foot out and come to a modified warrior 2. So that front right foot is facing forward, that left knee is on the ground, and that left leg is behind you towards the right side edge of your mat, the arms reaching wide. So a modified version of Warrior 2, you may or may not have ever been in this pose before, but a beautiful modification if you ever needed to come here. Stay here for 3. Last 2. And 1, take an inhale. Flip that right palm. We're going to reverse it as if we're coming to that reverse, but the left hand's going to come down to the mat. As you do that, extend the right leg. I need to pivot my left foot so I feel a little bit better and stable in that lower left leg as we come to a modified side plank. So that right foot is on the mat. The right leg is extended, left knee on the mat, left hand on the mat as the right arm reaches towards the sky. We breathe here. Feel the side body find a nice stretch. In fact, if you want a little bit more, maybe open that right arm. On the exhale, top arm reaches forward, extended modified side angle. Breathe here. Extended modified side plank. Just different ways to look at these shapes, right? Breathe, breathe, breathe. Last couple breaths, last few moments. If you did take that top arm forward, reach it on the inhale. If you did not, reach it forward and then plant the right hand down. Just come back to a downward facing dog, stepping that left leg back and coming back in. Down dog. Breathe it here. Nothing too rigorous, nothing too intense. Again, maybe that 60-70% range for today's practice. Go ahead and switch sides. Left leg steps forward. Drop the back knee. When you're ready, the arms are going to float up. Find your low lunge. Back knee dropped. You could keep the back toes tucked underneath if that felt right. Last couple. Yes. Again, let's try that transition out again. So we're going to come into a modified warrior 2. Reach up on the inhale. So a lot of things kind of happening right here. The back right foot's going to swivel so that it comes towards the back edge of your mat. The left foot's going to kind of come in towards the center of your mat as the arms open out wide. You can make any adjustments that you need. You could use any padding underneath the knees if you needed that. Breathe here. If the shoulders are still sore or stiff, you could always bring the hands to the heart. Last couple. So although modified, still some fairly big transitions, right? That probably we're not necessarily used to in our yoga practice. Just allowing the brain to kind of think with us as well. Take an inhale. Flip that left palm up and overhead as the right hand comes to the mat. The left leg extends and maybe that right foot pivots just slightly to find a little more stability. Modified side plank here. Breathe in and out of the nose. Feel the side body find some stretch. Really pressing into that right hand. Really breathing still. Again, if you wanted a little bit more, top arm opens out. Extend that top arm all the way forward. Reach it. Yes, breathe it. Last couple. If you didn't bring that top arm forward, reach it forward, inhale. Left hand down, step back to downward facing dog. Breathe it out. Breathe in. Breathe out. That's going to be our flow. We're just going to get a couple rounds. Again, this really isn't too rigid or formal today. If you're with me, let's go ahead and step the right foot forward. Drop the back knee. On the inhale, rise up, reach up. On the exhale, modified warrior 2, open that out. On the inhale, as if you're coming to reverse, but we're coming to that modified side plank. Inhale to open that right arm. Exhale, extend it forward. Plant the right hand down. Step back to a downward facing dog. Breathe it here. Step the left foot forward. Drop the back knee. Inhale, I rise up. I reach up. Exhale to that modified warrior 2. Open that out. Inhale, left arm up and back. Right hand to the mat as we come into that side plank pose. Modified, of course. Inhale, left arm opens. Exhale, top arm reaches. Plant that left hand down. Step back to downward facing dog. Breathe steady. Yes, take a couple breaths here. Yes. Let's get one more round just like that. So if you're with me, step the right foot forward. Drop the back knee. On the inhale, rise and reach. On the exhale, modified warrior 2 as you pivot that back left foot. Inhale, flip the palm, coming into that modified side plank. Inhale again to open. Exhale, extend it forward. Step it back to that downward facing dog as you breathe it out. Left leg's going to step forward, drop the back knee. Inhale, I rise, I reach. Exhale, modified warrior 2. Inhale, flip that left palm. We're coming into that modified side plank. Left arm up. Top arm reaches forward as you exhale. Plant that left hand down. Step back to downward facing dog. Breathe steady. We're just going to build on that, and this will be our last little bit, our last little element of challenge. Although, again, 60 to 70%, nothing too extreme. If you need to back off or skip it, you can. Just gently allowing our body to come into this movement. especially if we had a nice stiff body. We didn't do anything too rigorous. This last little flow will be our last little bit of challenge. Right leg's going to lift up on an inhale. Step that foot through. We're going to stay on the ball of the back toes. And then once you're ready, come into crescent lunge. Rise up, reach up. Whew. A little different of a pose with the left leg, left knee lifted off the mat. Crescent lunge. Take a couple breaths just to settle in. We're just going to get it once today. Breathe in. Breathe it out. Yes. Settle. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. This time, no modification, right? Unless you wanted it, you could drop that left knee down. Arms wide. Open that out. Breathe it here. Whew. Yes. Stay in it. Breathe in it. Just that little element of challenge, just a little hint to get us moving and into our day. Flip that right palm, reverse your warrior. This time, left hand drops down and low by that left leg. Right side body finds a stretch. Inhale, reach it. Cartwheel the hands down. Just step back to downward facing dog. Breathe it out. Again, nothing too extreme, nothing too intense. Last thing, left leg sweeps up. Step that foot through. Stay on the ball of the back toes. Find your length through the crown. Use your core as the inner thighs squeeze and you rise up for your crescent on the other side. Back leg active. Breath steady. Stay with it. Yes, last couple moments. This will be our last little thing again for our body before we just start to cool it down. On the inhale, rise up, reach it. On the exhale, warrior two, as that back foot spins flat, arms wide. Stay tall through the crown of the head. Stay active through the belly. Again, if the shoulders are cooked or stiff, you could bring the hands to the heart space, always an option. If you're with me, sink in just a little more to that front left knee. Flip that left palm. Reverse your warrior. Find your side stretch. Last three. For two. One more inhale. Cartwheel the hands down. And then just step back to downward facing dog. Breathe steady. Beautiful. Press the chest back. Set the knees down. Come on to your sits bones. We're going to extend the legs out long. And just a couple shapes as we wind down. Find your way. Legs extended. You're on your sits bones here. Reach up on the inhale, grow tall. And then if you can, place a little bend through the knees. So we're not going to go completely straight today. Just fold over those legs and you should be able to grab your toes. Even if you didn't or couldn't grab your toes with your knees bent, you should be able to. If you can't, bend them a little bit more. Breathe it here. Making sure we have a long spine. Making sure we stay. Making sure we breathe. Even as we slow it down, again, finding your 60 to 70%. Take your last three. Your last two. When you're ready, just gently climb the upper body up. We're going to come into a bound angle pose. So grab the soles of the feet, let the knees open wide. And I like to bring my feet close to me just to feel this in the inner groin. If that's too much, you could always bring the feet forward. That's coming into a little bit more of a diamond pose. And then we're just going to be here for a couple moments. So find the hands on the feet, lengthen up through the crown of the head, and then just fold in to your degree. Again, maybe 60, 70%. Doesn't have to be your deepest depth. If you wanted to even bring some blocks or blankets underneath the knees, that might feel good to have some additional support. Breathing steady. Breathing fluid. This is a nice pose when you still want a little stretch for the hips or the inner groin, but you don't want to be too extreme or maybe even into a wide-legged straddle. Sometimes that's a little too intense, especially if you're sore. So this is a nice pose to come into when you have that stiffness and soreness, but you still want a little bit of mobility and stretch through that hip or that groin area. Take your last 5. Take one more inhale. Exhale that out. When you're ready, slowly roll up the upper body. Close the knees like you're closing that book. Scoot the hips forward and make your way onto your back. Go ahead and hug your knees into the chest once you get there. We're going to find a nice spinal twist to close this class out. Hug that right knee into the chest. Left leg extends long. Right arm out towards the side of your space, either cactus or long into a T. And then once you're ready, just go ahead and bring that right knee up and over towards the left. Breathe here for 5. For 4. Last 3. The last 2. And 1. Take that last big breath in. Full breath out. Once you're ready, and only when you're ready, slowly come up towards center. We'll switch sides. Hug the left leg this time. Right leg out long. Left arm out towards the side of your space. And then once you're ready, coming into your supine twist. Breathe here. Again, even here you can be in that 60 to 70%. It doesn't have to be your deepest depth. The benefit of this class is we stepped onto our mat, really. It's not that we burned calories or that we had a lot of sweat going. At least not a lot of calories, right? The benefit here is really more that we got into our bodies. We moved through some things. We moved some tissues around. We created some circulation. Find that last twist. Come back through center. Give yourself one last big squeeze. Squeezing into a nice little ball. Take a huge inhale. Exhale that out into Shavasana. Total rest. melting in, allowing any additional tension to just slowly dissipate or roll off your body. Take a huge breath in. Let it out the mouth. If you have more time to stay, I encourage you to linger there. Otherwise, I hope you leave this practice feeling a little more rejuvenated, re-energized, and a little less stiff. Namaste.